The following podcast is an RMG Media production.
It's time we go beyond the handshake. It's time we deepen business relationships and take it to the next level of cultivating and building relationships past that business card exchange and beyond the initial handshake. Welcome to Beyond the Handshake, where we will take a deep dive into getting to know businesses and business owners, why they do what they do in business, what drives them to success, why they work so hard, what they struggle with, what they succeed in, and tips they have for other businesses to learn from their experiences. I am Lucy Miller, founder and CEO of Women Connect. Let's go beyond the handshake. Today's episode is with Heather Locke, founder of Hammersmith Support. Heather leads a dynamic web services company that keeps businesses clicking nationwide. Since starting her company in 2009, Heather's passion and customer-focused mindset have transformed her one-woman venture into a thriving, full-service web company with over 15 employees and office locations in both Phoenix and Nashville. At Hammersmith Support, Heather has built more than just a web services company. She's cultivated a trusted partnership that businesses rely on for custom design, development, support, maintenance, premium hosting, and SEO. Her genuine care and technical expertise have led to the management of nearly 250 websites, boasting an impressive 95% client retention rate. Whether she's crafting complex web solutions or dedicating time to her core values of service, quality, and community engagement, Heather thrives by putting others first. In today's episode, we talk about leadership, SEO, and growing a team from 1 to 15. Can't wait for you to listen in. All right, let's get started.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I am so excited to have Heather, founder of Hammersmith Support, on today. My friend and an awesome businesswoman who I love to work with and learn from. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be awesome.
One of my favorite people to talk to.
This is going to be so fun. I know. I love catching up over dinner. Was that last month?
Yes, that was fun.
I want to jump right into learning about Hammersmith Support. So you started Hammersmith in 2009. And I want to hear how you started it, what drove you to start this company and what your vision was for it.
Sure. It's been a little bit of an evolution. When I started in 2009, I still had a full-time job. I was just kind of doing projects on the side, and that's, how I initially started. And then my daughter was born in 2011. I was working at an agency. It was a lot of driving, a lot of stress. I felt like I just had no time in my life. And I thought, I have this little side business. I need to, this can be my job. And so I took the plunge. And, really in the beginning, I didn't do any marketing. I didn't really have a growth plan. I just had a lot of contacts and people I had worked with. And when I put the word out, I was kind of taking projects.
Yeah.
Work just kind of came naturally, but it was really just giving myself a job. It wasn't really, building a company at that point.
I think that's how a lot of businesses start. You've got this idea and you've got the skill and you just get started with it. And then you kind of figure it out as you go.
Well, and I think sometimes it takes time for the idea to crystallize. So, about 5 or 6 years in, I really started to see a need for the maintenance packages because I was getting a lot of calls from previous clients where they needed an edit or something fixed and they hadn't touched their site in forever. And that's kind of where I first started thinking about, okay, how can we make this easier for clients to keep it updated, to keep it managed, to continue to evolve their websites. And that's when I kind of developed our maintenance package concept and also changed our name to Hammersmith Support. We started as Hammersmith Interactive.
And so you started as a party of one, but you have 15 employees now?
Yes. So we have 5 or 6, employees.
Okay.
We have contractors and support staff that's about up to 15 or 16 now.
That's a big leap. I feel like we jumped past a lot of a lot of effort and planning.
You're right. It didn't go from day one.
Yeah.
It didn't go from me to just 15 all at once. It was definitely a slower progression. I've been slow and steady wins the race. I was mentioning to you, I went to the Brain Trust Awards last night.
Yeah.
And, one of the awards they give is the pace setter about, how fast you can grow. Like, I'm never going to win that award because we are slow and steady. And, we can't, in a service business, it's really hard to go from, to achieve growth fast because you would lose customer service.
Right.
And that's what's really important to us. So
taking care of your clients.
We're cognizant, of how many clients we can take on at a time.
Well, so, I know that service is really important to you all. And I know as a client, how well you take care of me. So definitely working with them to not only build my amazing website, but keep it running perfectly. And then also all the different updates and ads that we need to make to it. But what would you say is your secret to providing your excellent customer service?
I think processes is where we've really helped dial it in and get even better in that department. So processes for handling requests, some processes for how we respond and estimate time. You ask for something quick, like we need this photo changed out, that can likely be turned around in 30 minutes, no big deal, or, within the same business day. But sometimes there's other requests and, like we need to put up the live page, different types of ticket buys. And that's just a much bigger request with more complex. So we need to kind of assess it, make a plan for it, implement it, test it, QA it before it goes live. And so you've really got to communicate that to the client, like what needs to be done, because it may feel like it's taking a long time, but it's important it's done right. And we want to take the appropriate steps to make that happen.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm not technical at all. So I'm always like, is this like a one-day thing? Or are we talking like a few weeks or like an hour? And sometimes they're like, oh, we can have it to you tomorrow. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah, sometimes it is, some things are easy, but sometimes the architecture of the site is not set up to support whatever. And so if you want to add e-commerce, that's not an overnight thing.
Right. So who is y'all's ideal client? Who would be a client you'd love to work with, whether it be a type of service or that you see a lot come up as business for you?
We love working with businesses that have multiple websites.
Okay. So
think of like a dental office chain that has lots of different offices under them.
Okay.
So that's a great client for us. Or med spas that have different locations. Any company that has, lots of websites they need managed, we really excel at that.
Okay.
And help streamline their operations, help manage it, effectively and efficiently with cost savings for them most of the time. And we do work with small businesses too. It's another great client for us. Usually professional services, attorneys, CPA firms, where there's a lot of information. They need to keep it updated, but maybe they don't need a full in-house web team.
Well, what can you think of like your most fun project other than the Women Connect website?
The Women Connect website.
The Women Connect website. It's amazing. Y'all check it out. We are womenconnect.com.
And I show it all the time.
Yeah.
To people.
We've got so many beautiful pictures. That helps.
One of the most exciting projects for us, and is a couple of years ago, we were selected to do the NCAA Final Four website.
Ooh, that's
for the men's Final Four when it was in Phoenix. And that was really exciting because they found us on Google. They liked the fact that we were a woman-owned company, and then they have just continued to feed us more and more business. And right now we're working on the site for the women's Final Four that will be in 2026.
That's amazing.
So that's been a very fun project.
Yeah, I bet. Well, and you obviously did a great job with it because it's spurred other business. So
yes, and we manage all of their site. For the host committee, we manage several of their sites that they have. They've hosted the Super Bowl in the past, and while that's not something they're working on now, we're hosting their archive, the site that was up for that site and managing it.
That's awesome. So cool. Congratulations. I know you've had some cool nonprofit work that you've done too.
Yes, we generally always have a pro bono client that we are giving back to. We've done several in Nashville. I think one of my favorite was Waves, which works. It's based out of Franklin.
Yeah.
And they work with people with disabilities. We built them a new site on our pro bono project. I think it launched maybe 2 years ago, but that was a really fun project to work on.
I love that you do that. Like, I know I've seen you ask for recommendations or, who would be a good group for you to work with. So I love that you do that.
And usually when people are excited to work on it, that's when it's the best fit, because when we have good collaboration, we get the best end result.
Definitely. Well, so your role has probably changed. So you've gone, like we just talked about, from a party of 1 to now 15. So what has changed about what you do every day? And then what is like an awesome day for you? Like, what's your ideal day as the owner?
Yes, my role has changed dramatically, and I'm really thankful for that because I enjoy what I do now so much. So my 2 main responsibilities right now are sales and leadership.
Okay.
So I spend the majority of my time kind of in those 2 areas. Ideal day for me is kind of a combination of maybe some strategic client interactions, like more of a consulting, working with my team, or, we sometimes get on Zoom together and work through issues and workshop things. And I love doing that. And then sales calls, telling people about Hammersmith for the first time, explaining what we do. I believe in what we do. I believe in my team. I mean, my team is amazing. And so it's easy for me to talk about it. And I just enjoy that. I get energy from doing that.
I think that's what is so amazing about founders of companies. You can tell, like, you don't have to prep to sell your company or to talk about it because you love it. You can talk about it in your sleep. So,
and the stories, you can tell. So
you don't have to practice. They're there.
Yes, they just come to you.
Awesome. So from a leadership perspective, what do you feel like your style is, or what do you enjoy the most leading your team?
I like it when I feel like I've empowered someone. I like to foster my team to have independence. I want them to know they can make mistakes and I will stand behind them. We're all making mistakes, and I don't want anyone to ever be scared of that, because those are learning opportunities. And if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. So, I try to never make anyone feel bad for making a mistake. That's really important to me. I try to foster my team to just be independent and be growth oriented. So always learning and helping them find, learning opportunities. And definitely it's an area I could improve. Like I would love I'm going to look for maybe a conference or something for my team, because I think it's super important.
Mm-hmm. I've got a great conference coming up in the fall.
I know. And I come every year.
I know. I'm so glad. I love it. I know. I was so excited to meet Lindsay on your team in person finally this past year. That was really a joy for me that day. Like, I was excited that she was able to be there, and just to finally meet in person someone you've worked with so much, like whether it just be on Slack or, via Zoom. Like, the in-person meeting is awesome.
It makes a big difference. And even just, that was super fun for me too, because we traveled together.
Yeah.
And you get to know people on a deeper level when you travel together. Yeah. So that was fun.
I think she'll have be able to have she always has done a great job putting together what we need for the live page. But now that she's been to it, to be able to, she kind of understands probably more of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the marketplace, or, how I want the audience to feel, when we're setting that up. So
you see it with your own 2 eyes.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
She's so awesome. Really, really enjoy working with her.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I want to talk about the topic of SEO, and I don't know a lot about it. So I want you to download on me SEO information, and then what would someone listening to this be able to take and use your knowledge and either implement or hire someone like yourself to help implement more SEO type work?
Sure. Yeah, it's a fascinating subject. It changes all the time. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it is the process of optimizing your site so that it comes up high in search results for whatever keywords you are hoping to rank high for. And then there's nuances to it based on if you are a local business and you're looking for geographic traffic, or you are a national business looking for traffic, or global. So then there's different ways you approach it for each of those scenarios. And so the main thing is the strategy. So knowing what words you're really targeting, who your audience is. And then the process is, optimization, speed, and then adding content and keeping the site updated.
Okay.
So Google essentially gives your site a score when it's pulling up search results. And it's looking at the quality of your content, your domain authority, like is your domain known by search engine and has a positive reputation? How many other high domain authority sites link to your site? And adds to that. The speed of your site, the relevance of your site to the keyword. That gets a little tricky for businesses that sometimes maybe do 2 or 3 things.
Okay.
So it's sometimes making that clear on the site and how you do that with, the links that you use, like making your content really organized. But relevance, speed, authority, keeping the site updated is all a part of it. So it's kind of an ongoing process, even though if you do just work on it for a few months, you will see gains from that. But really to win at the game, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay.
And you kind of have to keep going. So if I was giving advice to local businesses, for example, I would say the number one thing they could do is optimize their Google business profile, which would be keeping the content updated, frequently adding content, adding photos, making sure all your name, address, phone number is consistent across any directories. That's the number one thing, if you do nothing else, that will move the needle for local businesses.
Okay, that's great advice. So they would go log in to their Google business page and kind of add to that like you would a social media account, correct? Like you would kind of put that on like another to-do of
correct
posting photos and information. And
like if you have a blog, you would definitely want to post it there.
Okay.
If you have, you're going to be closed for Veterans Day, you would want to put that you're closed on Veterans Day. That's an update.
Oh, interesting.
That tells Google that you're active, that you're managing your profile.
Okay. I'm thinking I need to go home and do this.
And,
oh, goodness.
Also, like when people ask you questions, so, how do people join Tennessee Women Connect or Women Connect? Like if it's a question a prospective client is asking you, then it's a question that's worthy of being on your business profile. So there's a questions and answers section. And then this is where you started getting into nuances. So using keywords in those questions and answers that you're targeting.
Okay. Just using it rich with good words that would be searched.
Even responding to reviews and using keywords in those reviews or local references helps as well.
Okay. That's great. So for someone though wanting to attract a more national audience, though, that's still important, but also utilizing those keywords within your website really well.
So yes, with a national audience, it's a different strategy. Google Business Profile may be still important, especially if you have multiple locations. But you can still set up your profile as more of a national. It's just not as strong as it is for a local business. So for a national company, I think it's a little more about generating content and targeting maybe specific geographical areas with that content in different areas. Trying to get backlinks from different directories across the internet to point back to your site. It's just a different strategy.
Okay. I know we've talked about adding some blogging, like just some, whether it be articles I write or now we have information about our podcast up on the website, which is awesome. So that will help, right? That will be some good SEO.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, a lot of people don't realize that when you do content for anything, you can generally repurpose it. So this conversation here it will not only become a podcast, it can also become a blog. And then you could link in the blog to the full podcast. It can be social media posts. It could be a LinkedIn post. Like you can take bits of this conversation and do the same thing. So kind of making as much use out of all your content as possible.
I have no shortage of content. There's so much content. It's almost overwhelming. But
You're lucky to be in that position.
I know. Yeah, the long form of these is great. I love being able to like just highlight little clips about what you're talking about. Because I mean, all this talk about SEO, that's going to be a great clip for, for all the places, all the social media spots and a blog. Oh, I'm going to start blogging now.
Sounds great.
Add it to the list.
We'll add it to your website.
Oh yeah, let's do that. I'm remembering now that I'd put Google business profile on my to-do list and it has not been completed. I mean, it's out there. I need to work on it.
Carla on my team over 2 years ago.
Yes.
We were here for the conference and she goes, I can't believe there's not a business profile for this. I'm just making one.
Yes, she did.
From the hotel room.
Yes, that was amazing. I've put some things on it, but I think a lot of people, it kind of just gets down on the list. So I need to make it a priority. It's important.
Yes.
Okay.
It's important.
I'm re-energized. I'll work. I will work on it. Awesome. Well, I love that. I know. So you all do a great job for your clients with SEO work. So that's something you're actively looking to do for clients and new clients.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we have a, what I like to call kind of a blocking and tackling SEO package. So the idea of it is, we really take care of all the base needs for SEO.
Okay.
And I think it's approachable in a way for clients to just get started and make a real impact on their placement.
I love it. Well, there's so much changing in the digital world from websites to social media. How do you keep up with all that's changing?
Good question. Continuous learning. AI has been a game changer in so many ways. And we're looking at more and more ways to implement it. I think we have to embrace it and use it as our friend, not be afraid. And so that's the approach I'm taking. And I also believe, at least in the short-term future, we are in desperate need of a human touch on that. So as much as you can use it to help facilitate and make tasks better, it still needs a human to make sure it is, still in line and you're actually achieving the results you want.
What do you use AI for?
It's a great SEO research tool.
Oh, okay.
We use it to help, generate some content ideas for our clients for their SEO. We'll create draft copy for them and then have them edit it, to make sure it's consistent with their offerings and brands. Keyword research. A lot of SEO research is really handy there.
Okay.
I use it in all kinds of ways. I use it to, upload spreadsheets and summarize for me and things like that. So
I know there's so much. I use it just a teeny tiny little bit. And whenever I hear sometimes people talk about ways they use it, I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. My mind is just blown. So.
It's a great topic and it's fun to talk about because people are all experiencing it differently and trying different tools. And so I think it's just the most fun thing to talk about because, like you said, everybody's using it differently and it's fun to hear.
Some people are using it for all sorts of personal things, like create a meal plan for me for the next 30 days and boom, there you go. I don't think I would have thought to do that, but.
And travel, it's really good for travel agendas. Like if we're going to New York for 3 days, can you make the ideal agenda or something?
Wow. What did we do before it, right?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
I know. Well, okay. So you've had incredible success and you're growing an amazing agency. And I want to talk about what you see in the future, but let's go back first. What would you either tell your younger self, so before you started your company, or an aspiring entrepreneur that either wants to do something in this field or start a business? Do you words of advice or what would you tell her?
I think some really good advice I was given was, not that I've always followed it, but fire fast and hire slow. So making sure you have the right candidate for the job. And if there is a team member bringing you down, don't be afraid, you will overcome. And then I think the other thing is just not being not being afraid to hire someone when you're ready, because that's really the only way you can grow in most businesses is having help. And so it feels like overwhelming when you first go to do it, paying someone a salary feels like a huge commitment. But if you just look at it as, okay, well, it's just this much per month. And, that's how you kind of think you just have to believe in yourself and give yourself confidence and it will come. So I would say not being afraid to hire is.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes.
I know a lot of people say they wish they had made their first hire sooner than they did. They hold on to things too long.
Yes.
I'm in that category.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to let go. It's definitely a hump business owners have to get over.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you've been an inspiration to me and always had great advice for me. But I don't know if you remember, we went to lunch years ago.
At the Rutledge.
Yeah, we went to the Rutledge and we were, I guess, now at this point, I would say we were just getting to know each other. But you were so, you instilled so much confidence in me to ask for more and be bolder about asking for support and sponsorship and members. And so I remember you threw out a dollar figure and you said, you can totally get a sponsor for this amount. And I was like, what? I don't know about that. And then I have now. And I've gone on to for several years, specifically for our conference. And so that was huge for me. I always say, sometimes it takes someone else seeing something in you and then you see it and then you feel more confident to go after it. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I still think back on that lunch as well.
Yeah.
Lots of learnings from that.
Well, probably more on my side.
No, for me too.
Yeah, that was awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Yeah. And that's the same in the same message. Don't be afraid. Ask, someone can just say no and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, okay. So looking back, that's great advice. Looking forward for you, what is your vision for Hammersmith looking forward the next 5 years, 10 years? How do you see that growing?
It's probably hard for me to predict that because I don't have a crystal ball and what happens in the tech world. But I know from my perspective, I want to hire one more person. If anyone thinks they would be an excellent client success manager, please reach out to me.
Wonderful.
And after that, I really want to optimize our processes more and really grow my team internally. Focus on, doing some more profit sharing and making my team more successful. Is kind of where I want to lead us next.
Love that.
Really inspired by Sherry's Deutschman's Lunch with Lucy book, and I want to get to a point where I can start implementing that type of approach. So anyone that hasn't read that, I highly recommend it. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, it's investing in your team, and then everyone wants the company to win.
Yes.
I love that. It's a great book. Okay, so this has been a great discussion about a lot of great things, but what are the hard parts about your business, or what have been some of the hard things over the years to overcome or figure out?
Definitely managing volume. We are, we manage a lot of clients, manage over 230 sites every month. That's a lot, a lot of volume. So sometimes, it's a little bit of a juggling act to accomplish that, and just to manage requests and taking care of everyone's urgent issues. So you can't always predict when all clients are going to need something from you. And so
it's at the same time, yes, I'm sure sometimes.
So sometimes managing the traffic flow is a challenge for us. Growing the team is always a challenge. Finding the right people to join us. We're very protective of our culture. I feel like for mostly virtual company, we have an amazing culture. We have very connected. Our team is. They work together. They talk.
How'd you do that?
Slack huddle. So I worked with a scaling up coach Jennifer Falk.
Yes.
And she helped me implement like meeting rhythms
Okay.
and doing huddles every day and really keeping like a shared consciousness in the business. And that was pivotal because we talked every day more consistently as a team. It gave more structure to our meetings. And we also do a lot of, she helped me kind of implement some core value challenges where on Slack we'll say, over Christmas we did, I guess 8 weeks leading up to Christmas, we did like a Christmas core value challenge.
Ooh,
and we'd be
fun.
like, share a recipe was one of the Slack challenges in it. And so people could either share a recipe or they could share how to do something that they've learned.
That's neat.
There was one on sharing your Christmas picture of your decorations. I have a lot of team members that are really into Christmas.
Yeah.
So
They got into that.
they got into it. And it was fun seeing what everyone's decorations were like. We learned about people's family traditions.
Mhm.
And you also got points if you like helped out somebody or finished a project. And so it was kind of like you build points along the way, and then we have a little celebration Zoom at the end and prizes.
That's fun.
So we do that twice a year or
Okay.
so. And those have been really fun, helped us get to know each other more, helped bridge the gap. Some of our employees are overseas.
Mhm.
So it helped us bridge that cultural time gap as
Sure.
well.
I love that. Well, anything you can do to help create an atmosphere where they all feel comfortable with each other and enjoy each other as much as that's maybe not always possible. It sounds like you all have a great culture there for that.
I'm very protective of our culture
Yeah.
because I don't feel like I can take total credit for it. It's definitely been the teams gelling together that has really made it so special, but I'm very protective of it.
Well, without a good company culture and employees that are engaged and excited and happy to work there and proud of their client's success, I mean, that's where you have your secret sauce for sure. I love that. Okay, so we were talking about hard things, but I got you off track with talking about culture. Is there anything else that's hard about or things that have been hard to overcome?
There's hard things every day. I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of something meaningful. I guess staying on top of technology and always improving our skills when we're busy working on clients and really keeping. There's so much new software that comes out, new services that our clients are using. And while you're trying to do the work and service the clients and stay up to date on what is kind of a constant challenge.
Okay. I know it's amazing, like how much you do have to stay on top of things in order to be at the top of your game and offer all the
every day.
From the tech side, I can't even imagine. I'm not even techie, but that's I'm sure that's a lot. Y'all do a great job. Okay. Well, I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about relationship building and how you do that to grow your company, because you are really good at relationship building, I feel like. And you're a people person. We've become friends. So, but like outside of this, like what do you do to build relationships that then you can turn into business or just have as a great contact?
I mean, I will say it's always been my number one sales initiative is networking and building relationships. I've never really done more than that as far as a sales strategy.
Right.
I'm involved in several groups.
Okay.
And I attend and participate and one-to-ones with people. I always try to have a lunch on my schedule, a coffee, either with someone's existing or someone in a group of mine that I haven't gotten to know on a deeper level yet. So, I look out at my calendar for weeks, try to get somebody on my calendar every week with a lunch or coffee, either somebody existing or somebody new, just to keep existing relationships and start building new ones. Refer whenever I can. Whenever someone is looking for someone in my network, I always try to be generous with information, generous with contacts. It's just kind of a value I live by. Like I just feel I like to treat people, as I want to be treated. So that's been a big value of mine. So with information, with time.
You're a connector.
So
I'm a connector. Like attract like, right?
Exactly.
I love that. Well, so I named this podcast Beyond the Handshake, and there's a lot of reasons why I named it that. But what does that mean to you when you hear that phrase?
It means to me that it's not just a handshake. It's a commitment to transparency and honesty and doing the best you can for a client and making a meaningful relationship.
That's a great definition. I love asking this question because everyone has an awesome definition and they're all different and they're all perfect. So I love that. Well, you do a great job with your relationship building. And then obviously that translates into sales and business for your company, and then just continued relationships you have with people and finding great connections for other people to find success too. So I appreciate you. Yeah. Well, we are just about done, but I want to make sure that we share how our followers can find you. So tell us your website and how they can follow you, maybe on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Absolutely. Our website is hammersmithsupport.com, exactly how it sounds.
Okay, and we'll put that in the show notes.
We're on Instagram as Hammersmith Support.
Okay.
I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And then you can schedule a meeting right from our website. We have a Calendly integration. If you're interested in scheduling a consultation, there's a way to just go on our website and get on my calendar. So
Awesome.
I encourage anyone to do that.
Could book you. That'd be great. Well, thank you for coming on today. This has been great. I've loved our discussion about not only leadership but SEO. That was huge. I love all your input on that. So
I'm glad. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks for having me.